Once we have a motion study created, now we can start to look at creating maybe still images or a video that we would show to people to be able to communicate and also have some really nice graphics of our design. In order to do that, we're going to move from the design workspace and change to the rendering workspace. So the render workspace allows for high resolution images and videos to be created of various designs. For this cam simulation, I am going to scroll down, and in the browser I'm going to hide the ruler spacer as well as the 4 rulers by clicking on the eyeball icons next to each one of the component names. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at a few different options. Here in the setup menu, if I click on it, we have all the different items such as physical material and appearance that are just like what we see in the design workspace and can be applied as well as changed in the same manner as what we would in the design workspace. Scene settings allow us to make some changes such as brightness, position, changing a background from maybe an environment or a solid color, having a ground plane which you can see has a shadow going on, and you can make some various changes here, and the camera going into a perspective kind of scenario. Some of these changes can be applied, and as you scroll down in this menu, you can save them as a default, as well as having the aspect ratio. I'm going to go ahead and have this set to the viewport aspect ratio, and if you don't like any of the changes or want to revert back to defaults, the green arrow can do so. I'll hit close on this menu, and then you can also apply decals in the same way as what we would in the design workspace, and mess with some of the texture map controls, which allows you to set the orientation of the texture that's applied to a body or a component. So for this particular setting, we can also look at doing an in-canvas render. So when we click this will take some settings that are set up and start to create a rendering of your design based upon what kind of level. So for example, down here we have excellent, and we have final, and we have infinite. So you can see as it's processing, it is kind of starting to clear up and render a particular image in canvas. So that what we can do, I will hit pause on this rendering, and I will go up here and hit to stop the render as well. So I can always position our model utilizing the view cube or any of the navigation tools down at the bottom, such as orbit. So getting these into position can be used, and then starting to get it working where we can then see a lot of the features or anything there. I'll get this kind of set up so that way we're able to see some of these particular items. Notice how I was able to rotate and move some of the cams. I can always scroll back up in my browser, go to joints, and on Revolute 9 I can always go through and make some changes to go through and to return some of the positioning back to where it was. So as far as what we're looking for, we are going to see about how to create one. I'm going to show how to create an image. So here in canvas render settings, you can make some different changes. Not very many options that are kind of available, fast or advanced, and what's your resolution based on a percentage. I'm going to switch to fast, and I'm going to go ahead and lock the view and say OK, so that way this view is what's going to be locked in for our rendering. When I go ahead and play the in-canvas render, it will go ahead, and you'll notice you don't have, because we're locking the view, it'll go ahead and create the rendering, and again just kind of clean up some of the different edges and also look and create a more clear and crisp image. Once I have an image that looks good, I can go ahead and choose capture image. And for right now, the only option we have, since I've locked the view, is we're going to use the current document or window size. If I unlock that, I can create some custom width and height and resolution settings that would allow me to do so. But if I click OK, it will then bring up where I can save this inside of my project folder that I'm using, for example, within Fusion, or I can save to the computer and route it to a specific spot. In a previous rendering, I went ahead and did a very similar process. So I will go ahead and show through my downloads. I went ahead and downloaded this particular image, and here is what we kind of got from that. So really nice, clear, crisp image that can be used to showcase a lot of designs. Moving back to Fusion, I will choose cancel, And from there, I can go ahead and click the pause button on the rendering that will go on, and I can stop the in-canvas render. Now, the last step would be to create, if we wish to create videos or anything of that nature, we can choose the render settings. From here, we can choose what type of, for example, setting that we have, like mobile or print. And then here is a video option. We can also do some different custom settings as well. So really encourage you to kind of play around with those and see what that is. To create a video, we'll just go ahead and choose video. Here we can choose whether it's going to be a cloud render or a local renderer. So cloud render would be good. It'll show you how many cloud credits are there, and you can either do a standard quality or a final quality. You'll notice it's not going to affect the amount of cloud credits that you need, and it does give you an approximate time of how long it will take you to make that particular case. So again, video, choosing 480p. If you go to 720 or 1080p, it says 2 cloud credits. And we'll do a cloud render and a final. We'll go ahead and say render. If this is grayed out, then that means you have exceeded your cloud credits, and those are some of the things that we can do. So let's go ahead and click render. And from there, it will start to submit. While it renders, you'll notice down here in the bottom of your screen, you'll have the rendering gallery. So this is going to be processing. Here you'll see I had some previous videos and everything that were processed. So again, you can do other things if you need. You can always move back to the design workspace. You can close this and then come back to this file if you need. But like here, I'll see that I've got 2 files here from version 4. If I go back to this, you'll see here I have version 6. So down in the bottom corner, and I can see where I've kind of created new versions. So here was an image from the rendering gallery that I can either download I can render as a motion study, or here's an image that I had before with the spacers and the rulers, or I can look at, there's also a video. So this was, I actually went through the process. If I play the video, here is the actual video playing through. It's a little choppy, but it does go through and at least show the movement and working through the different steps that were specified in the video. I can go up here and go to download, and I can choose to download this motion study as a video, or I could choose to make some different turntable settings and re-render some options if I need to make some different custom settings as well. I'm gonna go ahead and choose the X in the corner to close that, or I could also change to a still image. If I don't like it, I can always also delete. You do have some options for some sharing of images and some other different options, like for example, to zoom in or to look at some questions or things like that. So to get some help on some of those information pieces that are there as well. So you can always re-render and make some different changes. So again, in a previous iteration, I did have a video that was generated and saved onto my desktop as well. So in order to make that look a little bit more as well. So okay, so this is just kind of a little bit of an idea of what it looks like to be inside of the rendering gallery and be able to see and create some high quality images and videos of designs, and those can be shared out with various links, or also being able to, again, just export files and sharing those files. So this video concludes a little bit of a demo on the render environment and how to create some render settings and some of those wonderful graphics that we could use to showcase our designs.